Beneath Maravia's coral palaces, two sisters were born, identical in beauty, yet different in spirit. Naela, the gentler of the two, had the sea's love. She healed its creatures, embraced its whispers. Selya, fierce and unyielding, felt the sting of comparison. Though they shared the same blood, the prophecy was clear: only one would wear the crown. The sea would choose, but not for birthright, only for purity of heart.
You always seem so distant, Selya. Is something wrong?
Nothing at all. Just tired of waiting.
The sea will choose. We'll see who it favors.
Not favor. Choose. And sometimes, that's not the same thing.
Though they lived side by side, the sisters' paths grew increasingly apart. Naela was a constant presence of grace, winning hearts without effort. Selya, though she tried to match her sister's calm, felt a rising unease, both with the people's praise of Naela and with the prophecy that loomed ever closer. Her heart began to fill with something she couldn't name. Jealousy, perhaps, or maybe just a desire for something more.
It's easy for you, isn't it? Everyone loves you.
It's not about love. It's about trust in the sea.
The sea? Or is it just your gentle ways?
It's how I believe. You don't need to be like me.
But it seems that's all anyone ever sees. You and your kindness.
The Ocean Moon Festival drew near, and with it, the looming Trial of the Deep. The kingdom was buzzing with excitement. But for Naela, it was simply another day of harmony. For Selya, however, it felt like the first true test of everything she had worked for. The crown wasn't a gift. It was a battle, one she couldn't avoid. She couldn't help but feel that the moment the trial began, it would be the end of something. Perhaps even the end of her sister's endless goodwill.
It's just the beginning, Selya. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see if the sea chooses at all.
The sea always knows.
Does it, though? Does it really?
That night, Selya stood alone on the palace's edge, staring into the dark waters below. The festival was just a day away, and she couldn't shake the feeling that everything was about to change. Naela would continue her role as the beloved princess, the healer, the one who could do no wrong. And Selya? She would remain in the shadows, fighting for a crown that seemed so distant. But tonight the winds felt different. The storm was coming, not from the skies above, but from the heart below.
You're still awake? It's late.
I know. Can't sleep, I guess.
I understand. Tomorrow will come soon enough.
Yes, tomorrow we'll be here.
We'll see what the sea has in store for us.
We will, won't we?
The storm struck suddenly, waves crashing violently. Naela and Selya swam beyond the palace borders, struggling against the force of the water. A burning ship appeared in the distance, wrecked and broken. The sisters approached the wreckage. A man floated among the debris, Prince Alaric, barely conscious. Naela moved to help him. Selya watched, noticing how Naela seemed captivated by him. They took Alaric to a hidden cave, away from the storm. Naela focused on healing him, working silently. Selya observed, feeling the growing distance between herself and her sister, as Naela tended to the prince. Days passed, and Alaric regained strength. Naela stayed by his side, her attention solely on him. Selya felt the jealousy building inside her, unable to ignore the bond forming between them.
You've been focused on him for days. Is that all it is?
He needed help. That's all.
It doesn't feel like just that.
Alaric woke days later, dazed but conscious. Naela spoke to him softly, explaining where he was and what had happened. His pain was evident, but despite it, a smile touched his lips.
You are safe now. You were caught in the storm. We have been healing you.
I remember the storm and you. Thank you.
Rest. You're still weak.
I feel like I owe you my life.
Selya stayed quiet, observing from the edge of the cave. She noticed how easily Alaric responded to Naela's gentle words. A quiet jealousy began to build within her as she watched the connection between them. As Alaric's strength returned, the bond between him and Naela deepened. They shared quiet moments, their laughter filling the air as they spoke of everything and nothing. Selya could not escape the growing closeness between them.
You're not as bad as you look, you know.
I think I have been called worse.
I'm sure. But for now, you are safe.
Safe? Yes. And grateful.
Selya's chest tightened every time Alaric laughed with Naela. It was as if a silent wall was being built between them, one she could not cross. There was no hesitation in his touch, no doubt in his eyes. He had already made his choice.
Thank you, Naela. I don't know how to repay you for this.
You don't need to. Just focus on getting better.
I will. And maybe I'll find a way to repay you for all you've done.
Selya could no longer deny it. The truth was clear. Alaric had chosen Naela. And as much as Selya tried to push the thought away, the realization gnawed at her. The queen stood before the court, her voice ringing with authority.
The trial of the deep will be held at the next ocean moon. The sea will choose, not the eldest, but the purest heart to claim the throne. Only the sea will decide who is worthy to rule. Prepare yourselves.
The sea will decide.
We'll see if it favors you, Naela.
Selya's mind raced. The trial was approaching, and she couldn't shake the feeling that it would tear everything apart. She knew she couldn't win, not with Naela already holding Alaric's heart.
Selya couldn't escape the growing tension inside her. The trial was everything. It would decide who would rule Maravia. But Naela already had the favor of the sea and of Alaric.
How can I compete with her? The sea already favors her.
Selya, what's wrong?
Nothing. I just wish this trial were over.
The sea will choose as it must. We both have our strengths.
Selya knew she couldn't beat Naela, not as she was. Not with Naela's purity, her bond with the sea, and her place in Alaric's heart. As the days passed, Selya wrestled with the truth. The trial wasn't just about purity, it was about who could prove themselves worthy. But Naela had already won in every way that mattered.
I can't win. She's already chosen. The sea knows her.
Selya, why are you so distant?
I'm just thinking about what happens next.
You don't need to worry. We'll face whatever comes together.
Selya couldn't bring herself to accept Naela's words. The trial loomed, and Naela's warmth only made her jealousy fester. The crown was slipping further from her reach, and with it, her last hope. One night, Selya swam far from the palace, through the black kelp forests where no light dared to swim. She knew the way, guided only by the echo of the sea witch's whispers. She reached the Moor of Whispers, a dark cavern where shadows moved like creatures of their own. There she found the sea witch, half-shadowed and waiting.
I want Alaric. I want the throne. I want to be queen.
You may have both.
But what must I give?
Love cannot be shared, and power always takes. In exchange for a piece of your soul, you will receive the means to make him yours.
The sea witch's teeth gleamed like poisoned pearls as she handed Selya a scale, black as obsidian.
This will show you his greatest fear. In his fear, you will plant your lie.
Selya returned to the cave where Alaric rested. She could feel the power of the sea witch's magic thrumming through her. She wasn't just going to win the throne, she was going to take it.
He doesn't know. Time to make sure he never does.
Selya found Alaric near the coral bloom gardens, his back turned to her. She approached him silently, her smile widening as she prepared to deceive him. Selya stepped forward, her voice smooth but laced with poison. She showed Alaric the black scale, its dark magic swirling with his fear.
Naela has enchanted you. What you feel for her, it's not real. She's using magic to manipulate you. She's been using enchantments. That love you think you have, it's just an illusion.
What? That can't be true.
It's the truth. I saw it, the fear in your eyes. You fear betrayal, don't you?
I don't know. What's happening to me?
Alaric staggered back, confusion clouding his eyes. The truth, her lie, began to take root. He no longer looked at her with the same trust, his smile fading. And when Naela came to meet him later, she saw it, the coldness in his eyes. Naela approached Alaric, her heart light, thinking the worst was behind them. But as she smiled at him, she saw the change. His smile didn't reach his eyes anymore. The warmth she had once seen in him was gone.
Alaric, I'm so glad you're recovering. How do you feel?
I don't know. I've been thinking, and I'm not sure I can trust what I'm feeling anymore.
What do you mean?
I feel like something's not right. I don't know what's real anymore.
Naela stood speechless, her heart shattering as Alaric's words sank in. The joy she had felt just moments ago was gone, replaced by confusion and fear. Naela cried quietly at the ocean's edge, her heart splitting open. She didn't understand why Alaric had grown distant, why the warmth in his eyes had faded. But the sea knew, the sea always knew.
What's happening, Alaric? Why won't you let me in?
As the waves lapped at the shore, Naela closed her eyes. She felt the pull of the sea beneath her, the gentle whisper of the tides calling to her. The voice murmured,
"Be still. What is yours cannot be stolen."
That night, as Naela slept, the tide whispered to her in a dream.
"Be still. What is yours cannot be stolen.
I don't know what to do.
Trust. The sea knows what is meant for you."
At dawn, the kingdom gathered at the Cerulean Trench. A golden crown floated between the two sisters, untouched. The sea would decide who would claim the throne. Naela reached forward, her hand steady as she tried to claim the crown. The water around it rippled, and the crown moved slightly. The crown floated into Naela's hands. The sea had chosen. Selya screamed, her anger boiling over. She pulled the mirror scale from her side, and her magic surged. The sea trembled in response to her fury.
No! Selya!
You stole him! You bewitched him!
Selya stepped toward Naela, her fists clenched in fury. Naela stood still, her expression filled with hurt and confusion.
And I didn't? I gave my soul for him.
I loved him. I didn't force him.
The moment Selya spoke, the atmosphere shifted. From the depths of the sea witch's words filled the air.
You broke your end of the deal, and now you pay.
Selya staggered back, the weight of the curse pressing down on her. Her hands shook as the magic took hold. Naela float by the edge of the sea, tears falling freely as she gazed out at the horizon. She had begged the queen for any kind of magic, any way to undo the curse placed on Selya, but the answer had been the same. There was nothing to be done.
Please, there must be something. Anything to reverse it. I can't lose her like this.
Naela, I wish I could help, but this curse, it's unbreakable. No spell in this world can undo what was done.
No, this can't be the end. She's my sister.
I know, child, but the sea's will has been set.
Alaric stood alone near the palace, his gaze fixed on the horizon, but seeing nothing. He had been manipulated, tricked by Selya's lies. The weight of his actions hit him hard. How could he have been so blind? He thought he was in control, but now he understood he had been nothing more than a pawn in a game he didn't want to play.
How could I have not seen it? She used me.
Alaric, I know you never meant to hurt anyone.
But I did. I didn't see it. I didn't see what was really happening. And now,
You were a victim too. Don't blame yourself.
it doesn't change what's happened. I should have seen it.
Naela sat in her chamber, her thoughts heavy with the events that had unfolded. She had once trusted Alaric completely, but that trust had been shattered. She couldn't hate him. He had been manipulated just like she had, but she couldn't forgive him either. The wound was too deep.
How could I ever trust you again? How can I know if what you feels for me is real?
Naela, please. I never wanted this. I didn't know what she was doing.
It doesn't matter. The damage is done.
I know. But I'm still here. I'm still trying to make this right.
You can't make this right. It's too late for that.
Naela sat on the throne, the weight of the crown pressing heavily on her head. She had always imagined this moment differently, but now that she was here, it felt like an empty achievement. A queen, born from tragedy, her sister lost to the sea's curse, and her heart full of doubt and sorrow. She looked around at her court, trying to appear strong, but all she felt was the burden of what had been lost.
The kingdom will prosper. We will build on what we have, and we will move forward.
Yes, Your Majesty. The people are behind you.
But will I ever move forward?
The kingdom flourished under Naela's reign. The markets were busy. The sea provided, and the people celebrated their queen's leadership. Yet Naela couldn't shake the emptiness inside. The kingdom's success was a reflection of her strength, but her heart remained heavy with grief. She had the crown, but it felt like a symbol of all she had lost. Her sister, her trust in Alaric, and the hope she once had.
We will honor the past and move toward the future. Maravia will thrive.
You are a queen who has led us through hardship, Your Majesty. The people trust you.
They trust what they see, but I wonder if I will ever trust again.
Naela stood at the edge of the ocean, looking out over her kingdom. The people were thriving, but the emptiness in her heart hadn't faded. She ruled with strength and grace, but she had no joy in her success. The kingdom was hers, but the price of that crown had been too high. Alaric left Maravia, returning to the surface where he once belonged. But the world above felt empty now. The love he once believed he could have was gone, shattered by the events that transpired. He couldn't bring himself to love again. Every time he looked out over the ocean, memories of the princesses, Naela, who healed him, and Selya, who destroyed herself trying to keep him, returned. The pain of what had happened weighed heavily on him, and he could never forget.
I failed them both. Naela, Selya. I never should have let it go this far.
You never had a choice, Alaric.
But I had to choose, and I chose wrong.
Alaric sat alone in his chambers, staring into the darkened sea through his window. He couldn't find peace. The memories of Naela's kindness, Selya's desperation, each of them lingered in his mind, constantly reminding him of the pain he had caused. He had returned to his kingdom, but his heart was no longer in it. He had given it away, and it was lost forever.
What was it all for? I lost them both. I will never forget the sea, never forget the two of them. But I'll never love again.
Sometimes Naela sat by the kelp windows of her palace, staring out at the vast sea. Her mind wandered back to the choices she had made, to the trials she had endured. She had gained the throne, but at what cost? Selya was gone, her heart forever poisoned by love and betrayal. Alaric was lost to her too. Could she ever truly heal? Could the kingdom ever fill the emptiness she felt?
Was it worth it? What do I have to show for it? A crown, a kingdom, but no love, no peace.
The sea whispered to Naela, the sound of the waves carrying the message.
Love never leaves unchanged.
It seemed to say, as if the sea itself had witnessed the toll love had taken on her heart. Years later, the children of Maravia would sit by the sea and hear the tale of the two sisters, one who became queen and one who became a curse. They spoke of the love that bound them and the heartbreak that tore them apart. The story of Naela and Selya was told in whispers and songs, a reminder to all that love could either bind or break.
Did you hear about the princesses? The one who became queen, and the one who was lost.
Yes, they said the sea still remembers their story. That love can bind or break.
The people of Maravia honored the memory of the two princesses. Their story became a part of the kingdom's history, a tale passed down through the ages. Some remembered Naela's grace as queen, her strength in the face of tragedy. Others spoke of Selya's sorrow and the cost of her love. The sea, ever watchful, held their story deep in its waters, forever echoing the lesson that love could bind or break.
Thanks for watching, Diary Gang. That wasn't just a story, that was a memory. Tap subscribe to join the Diary Gang and keep riding with stories that hit different. Cheers!